Hello there. I needed to make some repairs on my trailer, and I'm not a contractor or anything like that, so I just approached this like a woodworking project. The one end of my trailer is basically wood or wood byproducts. The back wall is that T111 that a lot of people make sheds and barns out of. It's a manufactured material, but it's basically wood chips and paper and whatever else I don't know. But anyway, you can see on each end that it was rotting out. So I pulled that and the trim off of it. And what I'm doing now is I don't have the money, and I really don't want to take um, that window frame and all of that apart because I don't know what it is. I presume that it is just basically a box that they built around the window, and that I could probably take it off with no problem. But I'll save that for a time when I have to redo that, because I don't want to get into something that I don't understand and mess something up and have to call somebody in and pay them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out the offending pieces. And what I did is I took handsaw, and it's one of those Japanese type saws, and I'm just cutting right along the seam. The T111 has like seams in it like paneling does. A lot of paneling used to have, the old 70s paneling. And that's what this stuff reminds me of in a lot of ways. And I'm just cutting along that seam because it provides me a straight line. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the offending pieces out and replace them. And then I'll caulk everything, seal it, and paint it. And by the time that's done, it should look pretty good. And I'm going to replace all the trim. And you can see up top, I've already done the overhang, the eave, the soffit, whatever you want to call that. And that was a bear doing by myself. I had to rig a stand to hold one end of it up so that I could screw it to the face of that eve. It was fun. And that's sarcasm. But what I'm going to do, I'm cutting this out with a handsaw, and you have to be careful because down lower from where I am, this is the outside wall of the trailer. There's no metal there. Behind this wood is basically insulation. And down lower, there's the wiring for the electrical outlets in that room. So you have to be careful not to hit them with the saw. So right now what I'm doing is basically cutting out along that one piece of trim you see that goes across, so that I can cut a panel out of that T111 and slide it in right there. And so I'm using a chisel, saw, or whatever else I have to cut that out straight and square. And there it goes. And you can see that is insulation behind there. That is the wall. Behind that insulation is the drywall for the wall of that bedroom on that end of the trailer. So you see now I've got the paneling cut out and ready to go in. And it was a little bit different type of pattern. I could not find this pattern at the local Lowe's that I have, but you'll see once I paint it, nobody's going to know They're not going to notice. It's not going to matter. And you see me now, I'm trying to line it up, make sure everything is straight. And there are slats of wood that go all the way across that back side so that you can actually, well, they use nails, but I'm using screws because I don't care for nails. But so that you can screw that panel to that back wall. So I'm just going to place screws everywhere there's a crossed stud, basically, that runs across. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but if you ever take one of these apart, it'll be really apparent. And I'm taking and shoving the top corner of that in, shoving it to the left so that it mates up really well and fits really well. And then I just put a screw in it. And now I'm backing up to check my work. And onto the ladder, which I hate. And you see I have issues with my knees and stuff like that, and I can't just lickety split climb a ladder anymore. It takes a bit. They're using my hand to make sure I'm pulling it tight. This was an interesting project. I think when I do it again, and hopefully it'll be 20 years before I have to do it again, that eave or soffit or whatever, I repaired about 20 years ago, and it's just now, in the last couple of years, needed to be repaired or replaced. So if this lasts 10, 20 years before I have to do anything else, I'll be happy. By that time, I'll be old and looking for somebody else to do it for me. But if it so happens that I have to do this again while I'm still able, then I'll probably pull everything and do it all in one go, which is probably what I should have done this time, but I did not have the funds to do it. And getting a few of them on the end, that really is not that necessary because I will be putting trim along there and running screws through that, but just as well make sure that it's right from the start. Now time to do the other side, and I've already taken and cut that. You saw me do the first one. There really was no need to repeat it. And now I'm going to put this panel in like it needs to go. And like I say, once I get everything done, I'll come back and caulk everything really good. Any seam or anything like that, all along the where the trim and stuff meets up, everything, every crack that I can think of, I'll caulk so that it's watertight. I had to borrow a neighbor's ladder because I don't have a ladder tall enough. In order to do that eave, and I'll have to use it to paint that eave because this ladder is not tall enough. I have another ladder, but it's not any taller than this one. I actually need to just build me a big long ladder that's tall enough to reach where I need to reach and just shove it in the shed. It don't have to collapse or anything like that. Just wouldn't be that hard to do. Build a thing out of 2x4s. Just so I can reach when I need to. Once again, the cripple's trying to climb the ladder. And when I first redid this, the colors that I used weren't quite a match for the rest of the trailer. This time around, I think I got a lot better match. And here I'm putting in the bottom trim piece. It was too long. The trailer is, I think, 14 by 74 feet. And I could not find a 16-inch long boards at my local Lowe's. So I went with 12. 12 or 10. I can't remember which. Whatever they had. But I made a mistake. A friend of mine who's an inspector for homes said that I should not have used treated wood for the trim because treated wood laid up against wood that's not treated can cause it to rot. So I'll keep an eye on it, see how that works out, but that's what happens when you don't know anything. And I'm just approaching it from a woodworker standpoint, and I assumed treated because it was outdoors. We will see. I've got a feeling that the T111 that I used, I got a feeling there's plenty of chemicals in that. So all right. Now the side trim. I went ahead and cut it all to length and whatever angles it needed on it and stuff like that. I didn't figure you needed to see that. Just trying to make sure everything's straight. Because there's trim on the side there that you don't see. I don't remember if I got video of installing it, but I did install it. So that's what I was doing, is making sure that things were lining up properly. And this has actually been done for a month or so. This time of year, it's a little bit cool, but today was a good day. I actually put a second coat of paint on this today. I got paint that's designed to be used in lower temps, and hopefully I'll get another warm day and be able to get a third coat on and kind of clean up a little bit where I got smears of the light wood on the dark wood, etc., or the light smears of the light paint on the dark paint and stuff like that. But that can even wait till spring if it has to. I just had to make sure that I had enough paint on the surfaces so that it wouldn't soak up water. There was a water barrier or moisture barrier, that kind of deal. At least that's what I think the exterior paint does. Like I said, not a contractor, not a painter, none of that. Just guessing. Put a few extra screws in. putting some screws in on the trim up top. And there's the finished product with a coat of paint on it. Like I say, you can see I got some of the light paint on other spots, but I'll clean that up. Thanks for watching. Bless you. Later.